All this action from the Volkswagen Challenge is proudly brought to you by MotorMart. Nice big field of cars coming to play at Midvaal for round 4 of this championship. We're looking forward to seeing all the action out on track now as the MotorMart boys and girls get ready to go. Been a little bit of drama in the championship, and we're looking for more of the same now as the lights go out at the Amtech Raceway here in Midvaal. And heading down towards turn 1, Class A gets underway, and it looks like it's going to be the usual suspects at the front end. Rory Atkinson tucking in behind Lyle Ramsey. Ramsey looking for an opportunity to go with Dion Creel, who's got the whole shot. Jacques Smith looks like he's gone and get the whole shot here in Class B. As he goes through into turn 1, he gets that whole shot. Holiday Senior and Junior already putting the pressure on. The Class C is also getting underway nicely and looking for a way to get to the front end of this field will be Philip Cruiser. He's in the ATE brake machine, but he's got 3 cars ahead of him that he's got to try and find a way past. And right now it looks like Needham leading things out. Heading into turn number 2 now, a tricky left-hander. It's almost a triple left-hander as you go through there. And then you flick it through into turn number 3. At the front of Class A, though, it is big action. And look at how these guys are already starting to throw these cars around. Just chucking up the inside and looking for opportunities, but there aren't any just yet. It's pretty much a big steam train heading through there to complete lap number 1. Currently the BHIT machine there of Rory Atkinson in 3rd place. Valdi Meinke's down in 7th. Lots of work to do there for Main Squeeze. Let's see if we can be able to do anything about these guys out front. A good start there from Kraus. He sits in 4th. Behind him, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a challenge there as Keegan Masters jumps in for the very first time and comes and joins these guys in Class A. Just getting a little bit of extra seat time that you'll put into place, of course, in the GTC2 category later on in the season with them heading down to East London. A super effort here from the MotorMart boys, and you can see they're all in the mix. And trying to push through there is Holiday Senior. Just behind, you can see a little bit of maneuvers from Stuart Mack as he starts to put the pressure on as well. And Mack now onto the back end of Holiday. Senior and Junior sort of mixing it up at the front end of Class B, but it's very, very close. Jacques Smith leading things out. Chris Dell right on his tail, the posi drive car. And you can see the pressure being applied there by Junior. Junior being followed through by Mo Dangle. Good ride there from Mo Dangle. And of course, this weekend is dedicated to Abu, and we wish him all the very best as he moves on to the big stuff up in the sky. Dion Holiday Jr., though, looking for a way past. And Dell is going to match him under braking. Very late braking coming out of Chris Dell as they come off that back straight. This back straight at Midvaal is so much fun. You get to get the car into full pace and give it everything she's got. Then it's hard on the brakes and down to probably 3rd gear in these cars, and then flick it through the complex. And it's a very tricky complex to play in. Looks like a little bit of maneuvering happening from the ATE man. Philip Cruiser up in a 3rd place and demoting a couple of cars down. One of them being the Martini coloured car there of Gosman, but he's still got to find a way through there on the 2 MotorMart cars. Out front at this stage, you've got hard charging DeVette and then Needham on his tail. Nice to see they put a little livery there just to give us a slight differential on those cars. The red tape on the front bonnet just showing us that that is Needham out front and DeVette in 2nd. So DeVette now under pressure from Philip Cruiser. Cruiser diving on the inside through the big triple left-hander. That's turn 2. Then they flick it right. If you come the other way around, there's a big bump on the entrance, but it's a big bump on the exit as you go out. There you can see the back of the car just stepping up as they went through that exit point of turn 3. Turn 4 takes them onto the back straight. And look at how Needham is trying to get away here. He really is pushing hard at the front end of Class C. Nice to see a new man at the back there, and that's May. And looking for some more Class C competitors, I'm sure. Middle of the pack here, and Class A, always exciting stuff. Let's have a look and see how far back it goes. There you go, all the way back down here to the Norbrake car of Gavin Ross. And then we can see Class A at the front end. Unfortunately, Kraus losing a little bit of ground there. He was right underneath Ramsey and the BHIT car. And now it looks like Bevan Masters is tucked in between them. So there's a bit of changes there. And I think we're going to have to watch out for Nick Clark as well as he starts to make his way through this pack. Ackerman in the back end of the field. Front end, this is what it's all about. Ramsey getting a little bit squirrely in the Munro machine as he comes flying in. Look at, oh, he's out of shape there properly. Pushing hard, but he's got massive pressure being applied there by Rory Atkinson. And there's a battle royal here for 2nd place. If they keep fighting like this, though, it is going to allow Dion Creel to get away at the front end. Bevan Masters sitting in 4th. That's Jacques Smith leading Class B. Then you can see 3, 4, 5. Very closely matched there. 2, 3, 4, 5, in fact, with Mo Dangle in the mid-pack of that. Holiday Junior and Senior. Is that Junior at the front end of this field now? No, he's still tucked in 2nd place. You can see Chris Dell has kept him at bay. But it's a lot of pressure being applied here by the M&M machine. And look at how hard he's pushing as he goes on the inside. Mo Dangle sees an opportunity, has a look, and unfortunately just can't quite squeeze in there. But it's a lot closer now from Dangle in that MotorMart car. And that's the first MotorMart car out on track, looking very good. As, of course, the main sponsors of this incredible Volkswagen Challenge field. Wide line from Junior, trying something different now. Watch him cut back on the second part and get the late apex, heading onto that back straight to try and get better drive. Shane Kruin also out there as well. Kleur right behind is Mac, and then John Johnson. John Johnson, the only Golf 1 out there at this stage, as they head down this back straightaway. Now, Dion Holiday Jr. probably going to be side by side with his arch rival Chris Dale as they come under braking. Let's see who's going to have what it takes under braking. He's on the inside, but he's given enough room on the outside, so there's a possibility they've gone through there side by side. No, eventually he sneaks through. Dale succumbs to the pressure, and he's now got more pressure coming from the MotorMart car of Mo Dangle. Looks like Senior just hanging tough, waiting for something to go wrong. Front end of Class C. Still Needham and De Wet. In fact, it's De Wet now ahead of Needham. So a change up there in the two MotorMart cars. De Wet getting ahead of Quinton Needham and looking for a chance to take the victory here. How far back is Cruiser? In fact, I think Cruiser has gone missing. We are not seeing Philip Cruiser on track. So he must have gone off somewhere on the circuit. Stian Creel closing in on the two MotorMart cars. That's the lead of Class C. This is the lead of Class A. Stian Creel, Lyle Ramsey. Oh, a little bit of wide maneuvering in the background from Keegan Masters as he takes that car of his onto the dirty stuff. But it's Lyle Ramsey now fighting for second. Class C competitors are definitely going to come into play here for Class A. Creel hasn't found a way past them just yet, but he's very, very close. Probably get them down the back straight because there's enough space there. But it is Christian De Wet from Needham. And it's Dion Creel, fuzzy drive car leading Class A. This is the leader of Class C. As they go into that back straight, watch for the differential in power here. As the slightly more powerful cars get going. Oh, Ramsey! Ramsey got a little tap there, I think. Yes. Oh, it doesn't look like he's too happy about that. Rory Atkinson helping him out as they went onto the back straight. Yeah, flicking the light, saying, that's not how we play the game. You've got to make it fair and square here. Rory Atkinson might be having a chat, I think, to the COC after that little maneuver. We didn't see it from the outside, but look at this. Oh, Ramsey's so late on the brakes. He's right back in it. He's still got a chance of retaking that position. There's still a lap to go. Stian Creel now leads out. He's got the two MotorMart cars in between his two arch rivals there. It's Atkinson trying to squeeze through on the two of them. He gets through past on one. That's Needham. And he's put Needham between himself and Lyle Ramsey. That's going to help him out ever so slightly as well to try and just bridge the gap. Wow, blue flags waving frantically. Good move there from Lyle Ramsey. Can he go on the inside with Atkinson and squeeze out Christian De Wet? Yes, he can. De Wet has to just hang on and allow the two Class A competitors to get through. And they're still fighting hard there for Class C. So remember, it makes it very difficult for the Class C competitors and any backmarkers out there. In fact, when you get the leaders coming through and you're involved in your own little fight, it's not easy to give up that fight and let the Class A competitors come past and then resume the battle. There's kind of a gentleman's agreement out there, but it doesn't normally take any effect when you got a chance. And that's exactly what Needham is trying to do. Capitalize on these faster cars coming through and maybe just catch out Christian De Wet after allowing one of the cars through. Jacques Smith in the Dirt Nurse car doing a super job of Class B. But it's now Holiday Jr. ahead of Christel. We saw that earlier on. He's managed to maintain that. And with only half a lap to go, it looks like he might be able to take it all the way to the flag. Shane Kruin and Lindsay Kleur go through onto that back straight. Jacques Smith has done it all right. He's got this absolutely dialed in here. Very, very nicely turned out car. And certainly a very, very competitive machine in Class B. Holiday Senior was a bit higher up in the last round. So seems to be battling a little bit here at Midvaal. And can't find a way past Mo Dangle there for what is 4th place in Class B. They start their final lap. Heading into the complex section now. Any second now should be Class A, but look how tight it is here still between the Class B competitors. 4 cars all in with a shot of a podium. Anything goes wrong with any of them, these cars will be waiting to pounce. That is for sure. Late braking from Mac, just keeping John Johnson at bay. Johnson all over the back of him and trying to find a way through there in the Zonte sponsored Volkswagen Golf 1. Lyle Ramsey hasn't found a way through. It's a hot cockpit he's playing in there. You can see wiping the sweat from the brow. You can see how hard he's got. He's still flashing his lights. He's still not happy. Just warning Mr. Atkinson that he's probably going to be having a chat to him about that and the unruly behavior that he deems to have had put on him. So coming through into the final one. Here we go. It is all about the posi drive car of Stian Creel. Another victory here for Stian Creel. He is a very big dominant factor in this category. And with this kind of maneuvering, should be a hard man to beat today. First place in Class B goes to Jacques Smith, also with a very good drive up ahead of the rest of the Class B competitors. Class A taken by Stian Kriel. Lyle Ramsey eventually promoted up into second place, with Rory Atkinson being demoted to third with his unruly behaviour. Class B, it's Jacques Smith, Dion Holiday Jr. ahead of Chris Dale, Mo Dangle and Dion Holiday. And in Class C, Christian De Wet take the win ahead of Andre Needham. Let's catch up with Lyle Ramsey after a much better outing than Cape Town.
Yeah, much better. Cape Town was quite a surprise in the first race, almost rolling it. I must say, I learned from my mistakes. Some video footage has been learned from. And yeah, let's hope we don't make the same mistake again. I mean, today, luckily enough, no one stalled or missed the gear in front of me, so start on the race one was pretty good.
Fastest in qualifying, Roberto Joachim not making it out.
As we went out on the warm-up, I could hear the car had a miss, and it just threw on a rectifier, so we pulled it into the pits. And we tried to get it right. We found a loose cable on the car, so we sorted that out, went out, and miss was still persistent, so I just decided to bring it in.
Cruiser was looking good initially, but had problems in the race.
It was a bit of a carnage at the start. I touched Christian, and my wheel alignment went out, and I fell behind everybody. And then I caught them and outbraked myself into the corner at the end of the back straight and went farming.
Here at Midvaal, that's literally a term as well. You will go farming if you go off track here. But needless to say, a couple of little maneuvers to be done here and some tweaks to be made. Ramsey looking for one higher position than when he finished in the last race. So let's see what happens now as we get underway with race 2 of the MotorMart Volkswagen Challenge. Good start from Rory Atkinson. Looks like he might have got the drop on Stian Kriel. Yes, he has. He gets the whole shot into turn 1. Lyle Ramsey follows him, but side by side there with Valdi Mankies. Then you got Bevan Masters. Looks like Keegan Masters coming through as well. Much better start there from him as he tucks in just behind the first 5 cars. The rest of the pack coming through there. Sean Kraus, Wayne Kraus in the back as well. There's a great start yet again from Jacques Smith as he takes the inside line and whole shots in Class B. John Johnson trying to go around the outside of Lindsay Kleur right from the word go. Christelle already applying pressure onto the back end of Smith as we go on board here with Holiday Jr. And he'll be looking to stay up front and not allow Jacques Smith to get away. Nice move there from Christian De Wet, looking for a back-to-back victory and possibly a double on the day. But a much better start there from Cruiser, avoiding the carnage in turn 1 and getting up into second place. Here we go, Bevan Masters. Oh, there's a couple of guys maybe using a bit more of the track than what's needed there. Oh, and there's big problems in the mid-pack of Class A as well. Big spin out there. I think that was Quinton Needham who spun out the 46 car, and he is now backwards, not going the right way. Safety car has been called for. Or safety bucky, that is. So let's have a quick squeeze. I think there may have been another car involved there. Needham is definitely one of them, but I think Andre Kallitz might have been the second car involved. Let's see if he's been able to get back on track and get going again. Watching for all the Class A competitors. I think I picked up him just at the back end of Class A. Restart, and Ramsey now trying to find a way to the front. He's got to get through Stian Kriel. Stian Kriel already applying pressure onto Atkinson. Rory Atkinson is the only man who's beaten Stian Kriel this season, fair and square. It looks like Lyle Ramsey is up for the challenge as well here in the Munro Racing Volkswagen Polo. How's that? Holding that gear so late. And now late braking. Oh, and locking up the tyres as well. Heading onto the back straight. They're pushing these Hancocks to the limit. Phew! These boys are going to have to work hard as they get onto that back straightaway now. Shane Kroon, Wayne Kraus, back on board with Ramsey. Ramsey's not too far off the back end here of Stian Kriel. How evenly matched these cars are. It makes it very difficult to pass. As you can see, there's not much power differential in them. And now down into... That's 4. He's going to go to probably the 3rd as they come into the complex. Sliding into the complex as well as Ramsey, but very smooth on the steering wheel to keep it all together and in 3rd place. Here's the outside shot. You can see the inside shot's a lot more busy in terms of that cockpit and how much activity happens out there. And here we go, Valdi Mankies with, Keegan Masters up into 5. That's a nice move from him. Keegan Masters making his way through very nicely, getting up ahead of Nick Clark. Multiple South African Challenge champion is Nick Clark, and he's having to work hard now ahead of last year's GDC champion. Mixing it up in amongst the categories here. Jacques Smith, though, getting away as he did in the first one. Doesn't seem to be an answer there from Dale or from Junior, but a much better start, as you can see, from Mo Dangle again. Dangle definitely getting to grips with the racing here in Volkswagen Challenge. Oh, opening up the door literally there. Thanks, John Johnson. Can you shut that door now, bud? Or just get someone to help you shut it. Maybe just go past one of the polos and tap them from behind. Yo, that's late braking from Jacques Smith. Keeping that little dirt nurse car a long way around. Well, on the back straight, you're going to feel the effects of that open door, John Johnson, unless you can get that big arm of yours out there and slam it shut. Oh, speaking of slamming it shut, the door's firmly shut here. as Christian de Wet keeps the attack coming from Andre Kalitz. Kalitz trying to make up ground. Remember, he was one of the cars involved in that incident that brought the safety truck out. And now as they get onto that back straight, you can see Class C starting to open up. A little bit of a gap there between all the Class C competitors. Not as close as it was in the first heat of the day. Oh, Johnson battling with that door. I think it might have a little dent in it by now. That's why it's not shutting. He's not worried about the door. He's just concerning himself in trying to get up a bit higher than what he is. Smith leads it out at this stage, but it's Dale from Junior. Kalitz now in the middle of that pack and starting to come through too, so keep an eye on the back of this Class B competitors, because Andre Kalitz is not too far off the back end, and he'll be looking to try and get through all of them as much as possible, because remember, he has to try and fight it out here with Needham. I'm sure he'll be looking to get up there and say, listen, what's going down here? That wasn't called for. Right, so Christian de Wet hangs on to the lead of Class C. Behind him, it's Cruiser and Needham. Needham trying slightly different lines. Pushing wide and trying to cut the apex very late. We'll give him the drive into turn 3, which will possibly be that corner that they're in right now. Yes, indeed. And now out of turn 3, trying to get the drive, but it didn't quite work out. You can see he made a slight mistake, and he's dropped back ever so slightly. Onto the back straight. Cruiser in second. Needham in third. Being closed down now, as you can see, at the back end by a couple more competitors that are there, but really the concentration we should be looking at is right here. Class A starting to heat up in the closing stages. Bevan Masters a bit further back than what he was in the first one too. So is Wayne Kraus. But it's Valdi Mankies and Keegan Masters who are keeping the attentions of Lyle Ramsey as he comes across to complete another lap. Nick Clark also not too far back in the Avo suspension car. It's Rory Atkinson that leads out though. And he's just trying to keep it ahead of everybody else so he can try and get another victory in the bag. Close the championship points up and just make it a bit more interesting. The cool thing about this season is with so many Class A competitors and so many Class B competitors, it looks like one of the Class A or Class B competitors could end up being the national champion here. And of course, challenge champion that is, as they come into turn 4. Looks like it could be interesting here. Here comes Masters on the inside. Mikey's just hanging in there, but Keegan Masters will definitely know what to do in that car to try and get through on Valdi Mikey's. Bevan Masters just behind them. I can tell you it's very, very tight now between these two. Stian Creel realizes he's lost some ground here. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it up. There's probably about 2 or 3 laps to go now for these guys. They'll come into the back markers before the end of the race. Lyle Ramsey's hoping to slow them down ever so slightly. And Keegan Masters just wants to bridge the gap there to Ramsey in the Munro car. That's the gap. Leader turns into turn 1, and 7th place comes through the final turn. So the top 7 on the same straight at the same time. All problems. A little bit of smoke coming out of the back of that car. Could that be the end of the race there? Very good possibility. Hopefully you're going to be able to keep going. Looks like it actually might just be some body rub on the tire and body rubbing together. They're causing that smoke. So Matt Cohen right on his tail, looking to capitalize on an ailing car there. It's definitely going to affect the handling of the car. So Matt Cohen, remember, is a paraplegic. He only has the use of his upper body. So he's using that Volkswagen Polo of his to get through and try and find a way past on this man, Andre Needham. He debuted, of course, in Super Hatch, now in the Volkswagen Challenge, getting a little bit more seat time and enjoying life as a motor racing driver. Coming from a freestyle motocross background, he's definitely loving life being back in something with a motor in it. They go into that back straight. That is Class C. Front end of Class A, though, still all about Atkinson. And, of course, Matt Cohen is BHIT. So he's the man who's putting his money behind this car, as well as having some fun of his own in his own car. Stian Creel has not been able to close that gap down. Neither has Lyle Ramsey. Ramsey's just maintaining the gap between himself and the hard-charging Keegan Masters, who sits in 4th place. Come into the big left-hander now. Is there any answer here from Creel? There's too big a gap there. Atkinson has got this down to perfection. And it looks like he's going to be able to hang on and keep it all together. Let's see what happens now in the closing stages. Coming up on the inside and into turn number 4. Big turn into 4. All of them using the wide line, trying to get the late apex and the drive onto the back straight to maintain these gaps that they've opened up on each other. Jacques Smith has been closed down ever so slightly there by Chris Dell. And Dell looking to maybe pounce in the closing stages as well. Let's see what happens now as he goes onto that back straight. Big battle for 4th and 5th just behind them. So it's Atkinson coming through the complex again, trying to hang on. Nice crowd that's come out here today to be entertained. Really good to see these guys giving everything they can to ensure that they put on the entertainment that's required. Checkered flag is out. It is going to go to Rory Atkinson. He takes the win there ahead of Stian Creel and Lyle Ramsey. Coming through for first place in Class B, Jacques Smith. Under a bit of pressure though. Wasn't quite plain sailing for him like it was in the first one. He had a much bigger gap on Dell and on the junior and senior and junior, and eventually comes through to take the win. Double win there for Jacques Smith in the Dirt Nurse Polo. Class C still coming through. De Wet hanging on. Cruisers closed in. And it looks like, oh yeah, I think Matt Cohen has got through there for third place or fourth place at least. It's definitely not Needham who's in that third spot. And coming to the line, Christian De Wet for a double win on the day in the MotorMart car. He'll be happy with that. Cruiser, much better outing for him. It is Matt Cohen who's up into third place. What a drive there from Cohen to beat out Needham. Confirmation of the results. It's Lau Ramsey from Keegan Masters, Valdi Mankies, Bevan Masters, Nick Clark, Rory Atkinson, Stian Creel, and Wayne Masters, your top 8 in A. Class B went to Jacques Smith again. Super effort there from the BPM Engineering and Dirt Nurse car. Chris Dell in second and Dion Holiday Jr. in third, with Christian De Wet and Philip Cruiser 1 and 2 in Cs. Championship standings heading into the next round. Jacques Smith now on equal points with Rory Atkinson. Stian Creel eventually ahead of Chris Dale, and Valdi Mankies moving up into 5th. Let's catch up with De Wet after a great day.
I started in second position, had an awesome start. I led from turn 1, never looked back. It was awesome. Just a big thanks to all our sponsors, especially MotorMart, for making this possible. Thanks.
One double victor to another. Double win here for the Dirt Nurse car, Jacques Smith.
Started on pole and got held up by a few back markers in Class A, but eventually got past him. Chris passed me, past him, and yeah, just amazing race. And thank you to all the sponsors, Dirt Nurse, MotorMart, BPM Engineering, and yeah, just an amazing event. Thank you.
Tough day in the saddle for Valdi Mankies, but he'll be back in the next round.
Yeah, it was a good day. So it was a hectic start, a bit of bumper bashing here and there, but nothing untowards. Got going. Cars are very much the same in the straight line, so it's about setup here. Track is very abrasive, so it's also sort of saving your tyres for the second heat. Good race. Keegan pipped me at the end there. You know, well done to him. Glad for him that he could have come and have a race with the old bullies here. But nice.
All this action proudly brought to you by MotorMart.